Lila, and I'm the founder of the Health and Freedom Campaign, and we're out here in front of the building for the LAUSD school district, and we're lobbying for plant-based meals to be in all of their schools. And we have all different kinds of athletes and physicians here to support us and get this resolution passed, and we're excited to see what happens.
Item 33 is my 86. It is to establish a pilot program for vegan options in our schools. I want to... I'm hoping I'll get a second.
Not sure we can.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We need somebody else to move it.
Moved by Dr. Rodriguez. We need a second now.
You get a second?
Second for alternatives.
I'm gonna second it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rafa.
Thank you,
Perfect.
And I will relinquish the chair during the discussion session. We have several speakers who have signed up, while they're getting ready, Ms. Lila Copeland is going to introduce the resolution. Ms. Copeland?
Yes, hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, and thank you for having us from Earth Peace. Incredible people have come in from all over the planet to urge a yes vote on this resolution. Dr. Neal Barnard is the president of Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine and an adjunct professor of medicine at George Washington University. Dr. Barnard is a prolific researcher on the effects that diet has on the human body, and he is, in our estimation, the leading expert on vegan nutrition in the nation, if not the world. Dr. Jay Gordon is a pediatrician in Los Angeles and former senior fellow in pediatric nutrition at Memorial Sloan Kettering Institute. Fiona Oakes is in from the UK and a prolific multi-world record-holding marathon runner who has been vegan since the age of 6 of her own accord. Babette Davis is a vegan senior power athlete and chef. Her place here in Los Angeles, Stuff I Eat, provides delicious vegan comfort food for the community. Tim Moore, also known as Vegan Fat Kid, is a social media sensation and a super fit vegan food guru. Our incredible student partners who have worked hard on this campaign: Felix Hemstreet from Gala, Kohana Porter from Walter Reed, Bahar Gandhar of Van Nuys High, Zion Flores of USC MAE, Isaac Hernandez, who is not with us today, from Mendez High School, and Lila Copeland. Pamela Anderson sends her regards from France, where she now resides. Thank you for having open minds to a change that is long overdue in coming for student health, for the planet, and for the animals. I'm going to load a photograph in a minute on the computer, and it's a photograph that was sent to us just 2 days ago from a classified worker at an elementary school in LAUSD, which shows the second grade kids pouring their milks out into a large vat. One of our issues that the students are going to talk to you about tonight is milk wastage. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe we're now going to hear from Dr. Neal Barnard. Dr. Barnard. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm Neal Barnard, MD. I'm an adjunct associate professor of medicine at the George Washington University in Washington, D.C. I'm a fellow of the American College of Cardiology, and I'm president of the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. First of all, thank you for considering offering students healthy plant-based meals. That's a really good move. And whenever we talk about food, it's always controversial. Everyone's got opinions, but this is a really good idea, and you deserve accolades for it. This is actually important for every student, and not just those who are actually looking for vegan choices, but really for every student. Students who have a chance to try plant-based meals gain familiarity with the most healthful foods, completely free of animal fat and cholesterol, and rich in vitamins and fiber and protein in its most healthful form. And they set the stage for healthy habits in the future. And those who take advantage of plant-based choices at every meal are adopting the healthiest possible eating pattern. As you know, plant-based diets have been endorsed by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics and by the Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee of the US government. Plus, Plant-based meals are sometimes the most affordable because they can be built from beans and rice and other simple natural ingredients. Now, some people who are not familiar with plant-based diets might ask if they provide adequate nutrition. And the fact is they provide better nutrition than is typical of most American diets. Plant-based foods are rich in vitamins and minerals and healthy fiber and provide more than enough protein without the animal fat and cholesterol that children don't need. Meats do have protein and iron, but plant-based diets have more than enough of both in more healthful forms. And dairy products do have calcium, but so do greens and beans, and also in a more absorbable form. Meats and dairy products have no fiber. They're poor sources of many vitamins. They tend to push the healthful vegetables and fruits off the plate. And that's why plant-based diets stack up much better on structured evaluations of nutrition, such as Harvard's Alternative and Healthy Eating Index. This initiative shows that you really care about your students. Studies show that students who grow up with plant-based foods have much less risk of becoming overweight as adults. And in a 2000 study published by the American Diabetes Association, nearly 8% of people following typical American diets had diabetes, but for people following vegan diets, that figure was just 2.9%. They're also much less likely to develop heart disease and obesity and high blood pressure and certain cancers. And if children are unfamiliar with plant-based options and they never learned about the taste of a meal that didn't have cheese or meat on it, they've got one arm tied behind their back. So many students have learned that the United Nations and other authorities have called for reducing consumption of meat and dairy products and animal products in general for the sake of the environment. They understand that beef and dairy cows belch methane into the atmosphere and that raising feed crops for chickens and pigs and other animals consumes an enormous amount of water and fertilizer. When schools ignore those considerations, students feel that they are living among climate change deniers, and every student needs a healthy, plant-based option accessible every single day. And there's more to it. The majority of people of color have trouble digesting lactose, the milk sugar, that can then cause bloating and diarrhea. And this is not a disease, this is the biological norm. And by the teen years, many children have symptoms that get in the way of studying and get in the way of athletic performance and day-to-day activities. Now, dairy-free meals and beverages should be available for all children without forcing them to get a doctor's note for what is a perfectly normal biological condition. When you do your wonderful work, making sure that children are as well equipped as they possibly can be for what life has in store for them, the greatest threats that they'll face come from physical problems, overweight and heart disease and diabetes and others. And if your son or daughter were to say, I'd like to bring plant-based meals into my life, or I want to help the environment, or I want to be more compassionate in my eating choices, with your help, the answer is going to be a resounding yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. I'm French here, so you need to. Okay, Dr. Gordon, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this afternoon. My name is Jay Gordon. I've been a pediatrician in the Los Angeles area for about 40 years. I'm on staff at Cedars-Sinai, teaching faculty at UCLA Santa Monica, St. John's Hospital. Thanks for inviting me here to talk about type 2 diabetes, childhood obesity, cancer, heart disease, all of which are increased by the way we feed our kids right now. We're not going to reverse this trend completely this afternoon, but we can make a good start at helping the kids who we're charged with keeping safe and healthy. I wasn't certain if I should start with type 2 diabetes and heart disease, or a mention of how much kids like bean burritos and pasta with red sauce, and almond cheese pizza, and how willing they are to drink water and almond milk instead of cow's milk. And I doubt that anybody here drinks 2 glasses of milk a day, because we all know that it's a protein that doesn't agree with our intestinal tract and our immune system, and it's not really good for us. Dr. Frank Oski, who was the chairman of the Department of Pediatrics at Johns Hopkins Medical School, and who wrote the pediatric textbook that we are all trained with, also wrote another good book some years ago entitled Don't Drink Your Milk. It was a book for parents where he was really clear that the benefits, the nutritional benefits we assign to dairy products really aren't there. It's not a great way to get calcium, and it's not a great way to get protein. American children do get lots of protein in their diet, but it tends to be very high fat and low fiber. Lots of beef and cheese. There is no point in your life where a low fiber, high fat diet is good for you. We do have one nutritional deficiency in America, and that is not calcium, nor protein, nor iron. It's fiber. If you look at the local CVS, you'll find that the biggest aisle in that drugstore is the "We Americans Can't Poop Enough" aisle. It's always a good applause line in my office in my 4-year-old checkups. I grew up in Wisconsin where there were no vegan options, ever. In my last year of medical school, I looked at my patients, pediatric and adult patients, and I became a vegetarian, and for some decades now I've been watching really healthy vegan families and vegan kids grow up and grow up well. About 250,000 children and teens in America have type 2 diabetes, which used to be our grandmother's diabetes. It's a lifestyle, not a genetic disease. Each year, amongst the new diagnoses of diabetes in children, 30% are type 2, not type 1. This has never happened before. Well over half of our children are obese or overweight. Could we please offer a daily non-meat, non-dairy entree option at lunch for our students? Soy research has shown that girls who begin eating soy early in life have a lower incidence of breast cancer, males have a lower incidence of prostate cancer, and the anti-tofu lobby is very fierce and they are scientifically incorrect. And kids eat a lot of nuts and seeds and nut butters and beans and lentils and whole grains, and they get plenty of protein. If we give our students a choice of a vegan option every day, they'll eat it some days and they won't eat it other days, and they'll be a lot healthier for having had that choice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oaks. Ms. Oaks isn't coming forward. I'll go to the next name. I'll remind you that we have 8 speakers left on this list here. It's a minute and a half each, so you'll need to keep to 90 seconds if you're going to all be able to make a presentation.
Ms. Oaks, welcome.
Welcome. Good evening. I'm Fiona Rose from the UK, a triple Guinness World Record holder, elite marathoner and ultra runner. I am also one of a growing number of entirely plant-based athletes. I have been vegan all my adult life and most of my childhood. The resolution before you today to grant a choice to children as to whether they will eat healthy foods made from plants or those which cause disease in humans and massive destruction to the planet is so important. I have come from the UK exclusively to support you in voting yes, just days after completing the toughest foot race on the planet, the Marathon des Sables in the Sahara Desert. I am also the owner of Tower Hill Stables Sanctuary, home to over 400 animals rescued from slaughter, neglect or abandonment. I chose to become entirely plant-based at the age of 6, despite none of my family even being vegetarian at the time. Why? In my case, it was simple, because I loved animals and did not want to harm them. This means my entire muscle mass has been built on a plant-based diet. Without the modern-day tools of internet and social media, I consider myself fortunate in having had a receptive mother who was willing to facilitate my lifestyle choice. She is here with me today, also supporting you in voting yes. 86% of the children you serve in your schools may only have one full meal a day, which is provided by you at lunch. You hold the keys to give them a chance to eat foods which don't cause disease and to form healthy eating habits which will last long after they leave your care. That power is awesome and they need you to exercise it. Let's imagine the facts. You actually have the capability to lengthen and strengthen these children's lives with your vote. Young people are becoming obese and developing first symptoms of heart disease while still in grade school. This can reduce their lifespan to between 10 to 19 years. They must be given the opportunity to make decisions about eating foods which will extend or shorten their lives. At present, they are not given that choice, being presented with fat, cholesterol and other compounds in the animal-based foods currently offered. Lila, her student partners and many physicians who are backing the Healthy Freedom campaign have brought you independent evidence based on fact. Allowing young people to decide whether they can consume animal products forms part of their basic human rights, freedom of choice and the things we hold most dear to our hearts, our democratic standpoints. Please lay aside the bias that many of us were raised with toward eating animals, animal flesh and derivatives. We now have tools and science to prove these things are not needed for optimal health, and we must change in order to facilitate long, fulfilling, vital and vibrant futures. Allow your students the independence to make intelligent and informed choices as to how they nourish their bodies. Vote yes. Thank you.
Davis here.
Mrs. Davis would be followed by Tim Moore. If you could be ready, Mrs. Moore, that would be very helpful.
Welcome, Davis.
Thank you so very much, and thank you very much for having me here today, and thank you for bringing this particular issue up for vote. I am Babette Davis. I am a restaurant owner in Inglewood, California. It's a vegan restaurant. We've been around for almost 10 years. I'm a 66-year-old grandmother. I'm still doing push-ups, running hills, and I kick my grandkids' butt. The most important thing, I was gonna say a whole bunch of other stuff, but really I'm just gonna bring myself to you today. I made this transition back in 1990, and I suffered with asthma, eczema, a whole host of horrible, horrible illnesses. And after I became vegan, it's been 27 years now, and it was the best decision that I ever made in my life. My restaurant is going strong. I serve an underprivileged community, and I have people coming from all over the world to stuff I eat to dine there and enjoy. Basically 95% organic menu. The food is fresh. We're not selling people out of cans. We're not giving them frozen foods. And we're definitely not giving them animal products or their byproducts. These children need your help today. They need a better way of eating. They need to be up to snuff when it comes to taking over the world when we are done. So give them this opportunity. Allow them to have at least a healthy meal once a day. For some of these kids, that's all they get is one meal a day. And plus, guess what I found out? Oakland USD, they have already decided to put healthy meals on their menu, and they're saving money by doing it. Give this a yes vote. I'm begging you. If you'd like for me to get down on my knees, I would. But, okay, thank you so very much.
Mr. Moore,
I'm good? Okay, cool. Let's get through this. Hey, my name is Tim Moore, otherwise known as Vegan Fat Kid on social media. I am 39 years old, and I'm still very much dealing with the ramifications of being that bullied fat kid at school. Like many of us, I went to school to learn to read and write, but I also learned how to eat. Animal saturated fats and cholesterol in the form of meat pies, sausage rolls. I mean, I was 12 years old, and who was I to question the adults and what they were feeding us? They were meant to have our best interests at heart. Unfortunately, that diet didn't promote health and well-being. It promoted addiction and obesity. We are standing in the midst of an unprecedented obesity crisis. It is not simply calories in, calories out. The type of calories matter. The Obesity Society has data showing that people on a vegan diet, given the same caloric intake as their animal-eating counterparts, lost almost twice as much weight. When you ask these kids to eat food at school that you yourself might not eat, and if you did, you consider it a cheat meal, that's hypocritical at best. What you tell the kids to do in the cafeteria is far more powerful than what you tell the kids to do in the gym class. You cannot simply out-exercise a bad diet, no matter how many times you get hit by a dodgeball. Now, I wish there was someone like me talking to someone like you when I was 12 years old, because you would have changed my life. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So all the girls, come on down here, girls. All of our other speakers were under the impression that there was going to be a buzzer or a dinger of some sort to cut them off. And so they took a lot of time not knowing that they were going over, and they took time away from the students.
So we'll hear from each of the students for a minute. Go ahead.
90 seconds.
Okay. We'll hear from each of the students for a minute. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Felix Hemstreet. I'm very excited because I have been accepted to the Girls Academic Leadership Academy for middle school. Here's why I'm asking you to vote yes on the vegan pilot resolution before you. The standard American diet, based mostly on animal flesh, dairy, and eggs, gives us all disease. We gave you peer-reviewed science last year that anyone can access online that shows this. Plants heal our bodies and cause no disease. We can easily thrive on a diet totally void of all animal products. I'm here as a living example of that, as is my whole family. Healthy, cruelty-free vegan foods like beans, lentils, peas, and tofu are actually cheaper than chicken, beef, and tuna, and we learned that the federal government has commodified these foods, so LAUSD absolutely can get them for the healthy freedom menu we have suggested. Livestock raised for meat produces 150 billion gallons of methane gas every day. Animal agriculture is responsible for more greenhouse gas emissions than the exhaust from all the trains, planes, and automobiles combined. Give students the chance to be good world citizens and choose foods that don't hurt our planet. Give them their human right to have the choice to eat foods that will not make them sick. This resolution is not just for vegans, it's about empowering students to make choices that are healthier for their bodies, the environment, and compassionate to the animals. Please vote yes tonight. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kohana Porter, and I attend Walter Reed Middle School. I want to talk to you about milk. Let's talk about how few students even want to touch milk in school. We are constantly faced with marketing telling us to drink it. I hate to be blunt, but we need to get present with the science we have now that tells us milk causes cancer and heart disease. Check out PCRM and the Harvard Medical School studies to confirm the science behind my claims. You putting sugar and flavors in the milk doesn't change how much we all dislike milk. It just adds more type 2 diabetes and obesity to students' lives. Why are you adults so obsessed with milk? At Walter Reed, I watch every day as students pour hundreds of cartons of milk out in the trash and throw full cartons away every day. If you had any money at all to spend on something we do want and our bodies need so much that we would die without it, it would be spring water. We have to think about the mother cows who are impregnated many times and have their calves stolen. The male calves are killed and then they themselves, the mother cows, are shipped to a terrifying slaughter once they can't keep up their milk production anymore. You have had a contract with Pacific Foods to provide the USDA fortified soy milk and it's organic. Any student who wants to choose that milk over dairy should have the open right to it. I'm here tonight on behalf of a lot of students at Walter Reed, a lot of who are not plant-based, who just want a healthy choice every day at lunchtime. Please vote yes tonight. Thank you.
Hi, I would like to thank everyone who's here today to support this important campaign for the health of Los Angeles students. My name is Bahar Gandhari, and I am a sophomore at Van Nuys High. The foods we're offered in school cause disease. It's a statement that sounds so intense, yet it's a scientific fact. I, as a vegan, cannot eat anything on the school menu unless I could survive on a piece of fruit. It's your job to feed 600,000 students, we understand, and you consider some picky eaters, but is it really okay to give them nothing but food that is making them sickly fat, giving 10 to 15% of them type 2 diabetes, and creating fatty streaks in their arteries by the age of 10 that is setting them up for heart disease? Not to mention cancer, according to several highly respected science organizations. We need a vegan entree choice that children can depend on to be there every single day of the school year. Without this daily option, new habits will not be formed. Vegan simply means plants. It's not a scary word or a difficult thing. Science shows that eating plants is the best way for humans to thrive. Mr. Schmosen and everyone, please vote yes on this pilot tonight. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Zion Flores and I am a senior at USC May. I have been a student in LAUSD throughout my schooling, and since I can remember, I have noticed a problem with the food at school. Pillsbury yogurt, egg muffins, hamburgers, pizza dripping with cheese that all causes heart disease and death in Americans at alarming rates. This cannot be the best we could do for the students at LAUSD. We know that foods such as chickpeas, lentils, beans, soy, peas, corn, rice, oats, wheats, and other vegetables are reimbursable by the federal government and affordable. When I go to school every day, I know that there is nothing for me to eat as a vegan, but nothing there for a mainstream eating student to choose from to avoid diseases. This healthy Freedom Campaign is for everyone, not just vegans. Why do institutions like LAUSD keep force-feeding animal products to their students and giving us no other choice? Is it more important to stay with the status quo than acknowledge the food being served that hurts kids? A child who gets type 2 diabetes from eating all of these animal products and drinking milk can expect to die 19 years earlier than a healthy person. This is a matter of life and death. The animals being bred and raised by the billions every year for food in this country creates more feces, urine, and methane gas than the humans by billions of tons. This is driving climate change and so many other options. So please vote yes for this proposition, and thank you.
Hi, I'm Lila. I'm the one who started all of this. We came to you a year ago to kick off the Healthy Freedom Campaign, and we aren't going to stop until students in LAUSD have a full vegan entree option and plant-derived milk choice in every school for students. That may sound bold, but I'm also here to plead with you. Because this is an emergency that involves the health of over 500,000 children in your care every year, it's not a matter of what you can do, it's a matter of what must be done. You've heard about the science from us today and over the past year. The solution is not to just take the cheese and sour cream off your iceberg lettuce salads and let the kids have it that. That's not hot, complete, or delicious. I'm pleading with you not only to vote yes on this resolution, but to go about this pilot as though you're in it to win it. We've given you our recommendations and a sample menu that your food services department has had for 8 months that has federally reimbursable ingredients on it that are easy to make, high in plant protein, and delicious. This is why we are asking you to vote yes on this pilot and do something to enforce this resolution so it actually happens for the students at LAUSD, who have a right to choose food that won't make them sick. Kids need the choice every day of the school week. This is how healthy habits are made. You can start with a 10% share of the daily menu for a full vegan entree option and a choice of plant-derived milk instead of the dairy we've all been seeing thrown in the trash by the hundreds of gallons because the kids don't want it. Earth Peace is committed to providing the support to make these meals a success. They shouldn't be an afterthought. Your dairy contracts are up now. Your produce contracts soon after. It's the ideal time to re-engineer so the plant-based meals are paid for by cutting down on the dairy contracts. Cut them down by 15% to pay for these plant-based meals. Please seize this moment and make history. Show us in the world that nothing is more important to you than the health and the long-term well-being of your student body. Please vote yes. Thank you.
I want to acknowledge 2 things very quickly before I turn over the chair to Dr. McKenna, as I am the author of this resolution. The first thing I want to acknowledge is that all board members have received a letter from Clergy and Laity United for Economic Justice, CLUE, signed, in support of this, signed by 17 members of our local clergy here in Los Angeles. This was a time certain for which the speaker cards had been taken. There was a mix-up with this, and there were additional folks who wanted to speak on this. We will, if folks still want to speak on this issue, we will add these names to our public comment period at the end of our meeting. I apologize for that mix-up. I hope everybody understands that we have heard tremendous testimony on this, but those folks who did, additional folks who signed up, will have a chance at the beginning of our public comment period to speak to the board about the issue. With that, I will turn over the chair to Dr. McKenna. Mr. Zimmer? Thank you. I do want to again thank everybody who has come today. I want to thank Rabbi Jonathan Klein, who has come and coordinated the effort on behalf of the clergy in support of this. I know that we're on tight time, board members, and I do appreciate all the speakers who came, and also I want to offer our apologies to the folks for the mix-up in the speaking. I just want to say that this is a pilot program. It is in response to students from across our district who have asked us to pilot this. The risks of a pilot program are extremely minimal. That's why we have pilots, to find out if we can do this as the largest public sector meal provider west of the Mississippi. We play an important role. You've heard some very compelling words from our students. You've heard some very compelling words from our doctors. All of you know I'm very, very supportive of this, and I don't think that this is actually a nutritional issue. I actually believe that this is an academic issue. And I believe that when our kids are healthier, they are able to focus better in school, they are able to achieve the way we know all of our students can achieve. This is not the only factor in student health. Many of you know I'm very, very committed to our initiative to open more and more health clinics on campus. We talked about Vision to Learn earlier. This is one piece of a comprehensive effort to elevate the health and well-being of our students and their families. And so I encourage, I know that there is some controversy around this, but that's why we're doing a pilot, is to really see if we could implement this district-wide. And I just have to tell you, I think in 10 years, if we revisit this issue, I think that school districts across the country are going to be offering vegan options to all students. Today, and just like we do on a lot of things, LAUSD should lead. And so I encourage my colleagues to really hear the kids that have spoken to us today, and really acknowledge that more and more students are seeking healthier diets, healthier options. And as we've often said, our school nutrition program, we just got the statistics a few weeks ago. We have the highest participation in breakfast programs anywhere in the nation. We're going to get statistics soon that show we have the highest level of supper participation. We have the second highest level of lunch participation anywhere in the nation. What our kids eat matters. And we should, it's another piece, just like our facilities piece, of showing the respect and dignity we have for every student who comes to our schoolhouse doors. So thank you for considering this, board member.
I'll call on Karen Calderon for her votes. Ms. Calderon?
Yes.
Andrew is a yes vote. So ordered. Oh. Didn't see any. If you, Ms. Radler.
So I guess my question is, in terms of the pilot, so I was a little confused. It looked like financially there wasn't that much of an impact, except if there's soy milk. Is that accurate?
I received, Mr. Vaughn will tell you, but what I received is no significant impact. That's what the economic impact report said.
Good evening, Superintendent King, board members. Food Services has been working on this pilot for quite a number of months. And the one thing that we have found is that Right now, suppliers of vegan items are very difficult to find, and the meals are slightly higher. The biggest cost is the soy milk. Hopefully, as we decide whether we're going to pilot this program or not, we take into account there will be some cost increase, but our biggest concern is operationally. Because right now in California, for us to offer soy milk, we have to have a parent's note. So as we determine the pilot schools for this program, we've got to send home notes to every student in the school and get back a note that says that the parent will authorize them to allow their child to have soy milk.
But why exactly, I mean, I read it, but like it was a while ago, so I haven't seen it, like, did it mention soy milk in the resolution?
Well, soy milk will be part of a vegan meal.
It's one option, but there are other plant-based options. Almonds.
Because when I read the menu, it seemed like there were other, like there was like burritos and like other things, like, so I guess I was a little, I didn't think soy milk was like a requirement.
Well, you have to offer milk in the school lunch program. If you're offering a vegan option, you got to have a vegan milk.
So you feel you have to offer soy milk?
You have to offer it. The student doesn't have to take it, but you have to offer it. But if they choose to take it, currently soy milk is 40 cents a carton higher than the milk we're currently using. So it is high.
Yeah. So, but Mr. Vaughn, couldn't we do almond milk?
Well, currently our supplier, the company that supplies us, currently has soy milk.
Okay. So we have to look at other options. I mean, yeah, there are some operational. I mean, and when we're changing things, it's going to be hard to do it. I mean, look, you know, I'm a vegetarian. I can't drink soy milk. I only drink almond and cashew milk. I mean, again, these things are going to come on the market. But you're saying our vendor only offers soy milk? Is that correct?
That's what's on our bid currently. Our intent in the pilot was to, currently we have a menu that we offer every school. Then we have a side item where we offer a sandwich or a choice of a salad. Our intent is to, at the pilot schools, still have our normal menu, but also have a vegan option entree with soy milk. So that if a student chose to, they could choose the vegan option.
But I guess my question is, you know, and I'm not an expert in, like, I'm sure there's experts in the audience, right? And I'm sure there's people who just love soy milk or love soy. But like, I'm not sure I'm such a big supporter of soy, and I'm not opposed to like coconut milk or almond milk or cashew milk, or like, I'm not even opposed to this whole concept. But I'm not really excited about flooding any school with soy milk and then having to get like permission slips from parents to allow children to drink soy milk. What is the controversy over soy milk that we would need a permission slip?
Right now, the way it's written up by the USDA and the CDE is enforcing it because I called to verify it. If you're going to substitute milk other than what's currently being offered, you have to have a note signed by a parent. And they confirmed that to me again last week, and they will not exempt us for that.
So it's not about the soy milk, it's about that there's a substitute.
Yes, it's a milk substitute. If you're going to offer a milk substitute, whether it's almond, soy, or whatever, we have to have a parent's note. So that was the reason we recommended doing this in a very small pilot, because there's going to be operational issues where we have to send letters home to parents. We're going to have signed forms on file. And CDE, from what they told me, they're not going to back off. So until that changes, we have to have a note.
So when you're thinking of a pilot, like, you know, because I've recommended pilots, as you know, and you know, I've seen like one school in each board district or something like that. What is the pilot that's being envisioned here in terms of the size?
It's being envisioned very small in each board district. Initially, I think we're supposed to come back in 90 days and review how it's going. And we're going to know from a food service standpoint, at least have some idea how many may participate based upon the notes that we send home. Because the parents are going to send the notes back if they want their child to have an opportunity to participate. So we'd have some idea of how many.
And are we looking at one school per board district?
We haven't really settled on a certain number. We're looking where there's interest, but we want to keep it small until we understand how it's going to affect us operationally.
Are you, but I guess the question, are you suggesting we do more than one per board district?
I'm suggesting that we take a look at where the interest is, but we keep it as small as we possibly can. Because of the amount of notes, again, if I read the resolution correctly, we've got to come back in 90 days and discuss it anyway. So at that point in time, we could look at it moving forward.
Well, I seconded it for discussion purposes, and I'm not opposed to the concept. I'm not going to be voting for it, because I am a little concerned about this whole soy thing. I don't see why we're like so pro-soy.
But can I answer that? I know Dr. Villa's saying that this is the dairy lobby. I mean, that's what this is. Yeah, no, these are the guidelines that are set in place by the USRDA, and there's big ag. Look, there's vegetables involved too. There's, I'm not, there's a lot of growers that I don't support that grow vegetables and don't treat their workers well. We dealt with Garwan here, 2 years ago. But this is not Mr. Vaughn's fault. We can't get water into our schools. I mean, we're part of a fight. When we Board Member Garcia reminded me that when we banned soda on our campuses, that was viewed as radical, and we had to fight, the beverage industry on that. Dr. Barnard pushed us in Sacramento to get a new bottle bill passed that gets blocked. So, I mean, there is no soy hang-up here. This is challenging. Mr. Vaughn has agreed to work with us. I presented this as a pilot because I understand we have to test and learn. But I do have to also say that there's a lot of things that we get sign-offs on. It's another challenge that we have with providing glasses. This is, parents and family members, we do have to get permission. I don't think that is impossible. It's just important to understand where these commodity laws come from, who benefits from them, and our role in trying to change them. When we did antibiotic-free and hormone-free chicken, 6 years ago, we were in a different world in terms of that. And so we can be in a different world 6 years from now in terms of these options. I apologize, Dr. McCann. I know Dr. Vladevic wants to.
I was just going to ask what you said to our legal counsel, because I know in certain states they allow you to send a note to parents and say, unless I hear back from you, I hate to say it, but I remember as a parent in LA schools when both of my children came home, and I'm just going to say it, when we started passing out condoms, and you had to get a note from every parent, and the way the district worked it was, unless you said no, it was okay to give them. So I can still remember that conversation with my daughter saying, are you going to say no? So I'm just letting you know, that was probably the most difficult conversation my wife had. So I'll just leave it at that. So I'm just saying, Mr. Holmquist, could you look into, can we do that? There's a word for it, and I'm lost for the word.
Right, I know what you're talking about, Dr. Vladevic. Yes, we'll be happy to work with Mr. Vaughn and
yeah, so maybe we can forego the notes, because you said...
Any other comment? You go ahead.
So when I first saw this resolution, I showed it to all of my vegan and vegetarian friends, and they were jumping up and down of excitement. And one of them sent me a message that they want me to read. As a low-income vegetarian student, it is often very hard to find food options at my school cafeteria. And even when they do have them, I always feel like a burden to the cafeteria staff for they have to go out of their way and go to the back to find one of the very few vegetarian options. However, the vegetarian option that they most always have is a yogurt, which is not vegan. I can only begin to imagine how hard it must be to be vegan for students. It is the school's duty to provide food that accommodates the needs of every single student. Thank you, Mr. Zimmer, for bringing forth this resolution, and I ask you all keep the dietary needs and preferences of every student in place. I know that this resolution will come with many obstacles. However, I believe that the needs of the students should be prioritized, and vegan options are not a want, but a need for many students.
I do. So I do want to support this, but is there any way we could limit the pilot to like high schools? Because that way I feel like there's a little bit more of an opportunity for one in each district. So
I mean, I think that can be done without amending it, but I also, I mean, there's another aspect to this, and that is that I mean, we've limited this to about health and about the issues that were brought up, but vegan, as you see in the letter from the clergy, vegan options also make it so that other students with other dietary restrictions can also participate in the school lunch program. That happens from a young age, and so I think if we were going like every high school, I mean, if we were saying every high school, I would be inclined to accept to accept that. But the purpose of the pilot is to see like, okay, how does it work in the elementary school? How does it work in the middle school? How does it work in a high school? When we come back and do an adaptation, that I hope we will do, that's when, to me, we have to have the information about like, no, we can't make this work in an elementary school because kids just won't, don't accept those options. In the middle school, it's too complicated because of A, B, and C. We should really only do it in high school. Well, I feel like that's a conversation for after the pilot. The purpose of the pilot is to see how it operates in each of the levels of the schools.
I'm going to make a comment, hopefully the last one before we vote. My concern is that if we're looking for research rather than a political position to prove, but you have to offer to a population that may be disinterested, but may be persuaded by what is they're exposed to. I can tell you that there are certain, everyone in this audience, very enthusiastic. You cheer, make a lot of noise. There are people who don't care at all about what you're talking about. And they're probably the majority. That doesn't mean they can't be exposed and persuaded. So if your pilots, as Mr. Vaughn said, are in the places where people are enthusiastic about it, you've already skewed the outcome as to, you're all enthusiastic. Well, you only gave it to the people who are already enthusiastic. I would agree that a broader spectrum of middle, elementary, high, I don't know, Mr. Vaughn said it costs more, it's more, shall we say, personnel impactful. How many people are going to, put the surveys out there, collect the surveys, collect the data, all this kind of stuff. But in other parts of our community, and our community is quite vast. There are people in the audience, with no disrespect to you, you're not in some of the other communities, particularly my board district. I'm in Board District 1, which is south of Los Angeles. They have an opportunity to try it too. But if you only test it pilot-wise in your neighborhood, you don't know what the other neighborhood thinks. And you should know. And they should also have an opportunity to be exposed because they might find that they like it and they might say they don't like it. But they have the right to do that if you're going to get what you would call objective data and be able to compare and contrast different populations. If it's healthy, it ought to be exposed to everyone. But everyone's not going to get it right off the bat because we're not going to replace regular milk. What we have to do is offer what we usually offer plus the option for something other than regular milk, which I drink daily. And I'm not embarrassed to say that, and I'm not going to stop drinking it daily. But that just means my vote is that other people who feel it's in their best interest to do it should do it. Sorry, no, I am concerned about the breadth and the depth of the pilot. How much is it going to cost us to do it? And how long is the pilot? If we say 90 days, maybe that's a good time. I don't know. That's arbitrary. It could be 6 months. It could be more or less. I don't know. But those are my opinions, that if, in fact, there is to be a pilot, it ought to include more of a cross-section rather than just the interested people, the enthusiastic people. And I'm glad you're enthusiastic. I mean, that's the way things happen. But whether it is nutritionally valuable to everyone or nutritionally tasteful to everyone, because it's a cultural change, you know. The culture I came from is similar to some other people, but I came from New Orleans, Louisiana. And I don't know how many people in New Orleans right now drink soy milk. I know what they eat and I know what they drink. They eat the same stuff they've been drinking and they wash it down with a cold beer. So I'm not telling you that they're the most healthy people in the world, because the data says there's probably more obesity in Louisiana than any place else, right? Because they still eat fat stuff, because that's what they grew up on. So did I. The point is, I do believe that we have an obligation to be intellectual about this rather than emotional about it, and also thoughtful about it in terms of what it does to the human body, just like what it does to the climate. When people say, nothing wrong with the climate, and you see the icebergs melting right in front of you, I'll say, well, it's just a hot day. And they don't know any better. So rather than be ignorant about it, I'd rather be open to it. But if we're going to be open, I think we ought to prod it just a little bit, not to break the bank in the beginning. That's just my thought.
When we conclude this, if people are leaving, if you could leave quietly, we have a lot of business to conduct. I've recorded Ms. Calderon's vote. Is there any objection from the other board members?
I'm not going to object, but I do think it is important that because I do want it to, I think it should be in the high schools across the district, this option. I don't love soy, so I think it would be nice for us to explore why it can't be cashew milk or almond milk or something like that. But I would ask that, like you said, that the pilot make sure we cover broadly instead of just in one area, because I don't think that's fair.
When I said broadly, I didn't mean everywhere, but I meant that it should be in different pockets where people have representatives of different nutritional tastes that are in different cultures right now. You know, there are people who love, you know, hot, spicy Latino foods, and other people like fatback and the greens, and other people like other stuff, right? And so, whatever you like, you know, you've been liking it for all your life. Now we have to expose everybody to this in a sort of a targeted way. That's all I'm trying to say. It doesn't have to be broad, but it has to be.
Thank you. Board members.
No, you said you were going to vote no, but you said...
I just said that, like, I think you made a good point, and I think it's Calderon made a really good point, and I don't want, like, I actually think it's more, I know what you said, but I still think it's about many of our high school students wanting and feeling like they deserve options, and I think many times they do. And so I appreciated very much this group's support when we did the pilot with the chocolate milk and what we learned about that and how that's research. So I think it's an interesting thing to do this pilot. But I do want to make sure that it's actually done in every board district. And I keep getting a little concerned with this like idea that like it's going to be really, really small and it's going to be where they want it. So, you know, with those things I said, I'm happy to support a pilot.
Thank you very much. We're going to move to the next item.
Well, tell them what happened.
funding the table operational license. If I can have it moved.
I feel very, very happy and excited.
Congratulations. Ask your question.
How do you feel?
My question is to the budget folks, and I support going out to refinance this like you refinance a house. But when we did this bond sale, we were told we got an excellent rate, and then I noticed that the feds have moved the rates up.
So when you first started this, did you think you'd have this many people showing up for you?
I actually didn't. I'm actually very surprised by how many people showed up.
It's amazing how many people showed up. It's really nice to have all this
I'm so happy it
support.
went well.
I am so darned excited because we went inside there today and we kicked butt and we got the yes we wanted today. So thanks to Lila and her mom and so many of these fantastic people, things are going to move and this is going to be a success. This pilot will be a success, period. I claim that. And everybody else has to claim it too. But today we're going to celebrate this victory because unanimously they said yes. And so I'm just really excited.